You know, I know I'm only like 3 or so episodes into this series, but I really do gotta apologize if I'm coming off as too negative. Not because I got any comments about it, I don't know. I just feel like I have like a higher expectation for this as something that's rivaling SpongeBob. I'm saying all this because Heavy Metal is a very milquetoast and kind of boring episode, which is interesting considering the fact that in the first like 5 goddamn seconds of this episode, Lincoln gets pants that we see a child's underpants. Meanwhile, if this was the opposite sex, this would probably get you a restraining order, but you know, Nickelodeon showrunners, who cares, I guess. Now, anyways, the plot of Heavy Metal basically has Lincoln getting bullied and trying to hide it from his sisters. Why? Because they're incredibly overprotective. Which, honestly, comparing the last 2 episodes to this premise right here, is completely ass backwards because we definitely have not seen either a caring side from most of these sisters. The only character that comes close is Lori because she destroyed his video game console in the last episode. But again, that's kind of an exception, not necessarily the rule. I understand this is episode 3 and all that, so you can mold the characters however which way you can. There still is time to do that, but I mean, just the episode with Arg alone, just like, I don't know about that. But then again, I guess considering the fandom, yeah. There's like this really weird joke they implement involving Lincoln talking to the camera again. Like, he didn't even do that in the last episode, but now he's doing it, including a weather update involving a, quote, sister NATO. Like, it's ridiculous. And then the sister NATO happens in reality. Now, I understand this is a cartoon and all that. I really do know that. Okay, I'm not trying to be Mr. Everything needs to be super realistic in a cartoon, grr. But this series is supposed to be more grounded before something like the Loud House movie where they introduce magic and dragons and ghosts and shit. But is this actually happening in reality? We haven't seen Lincoln like have this kind of hallucinations like ever, so like is this actually happening in reality, or is this actually his imagination? Because I could honestly believe either or. After the girls find out that Lincoln's bully is not a guy, they then decide to go completely 180 and say, you know what, guys? If your bully hates you and beats you up and pantses you and records it for the internet to see, that means they like you. I'm not even joking when I say this. I think the only time this kind of fucking plot has ever worked ever is in goddamn Deltarune, okay? Susie alone is the only one, the only way, the only how this kind of plot would even work, period. And again, I'm sorry for bringing this up, but it kind of makes sense onto why everyone tries to ship Lynn and Lincoln together. Because if this is the message that you're portraying here, then why would not? Lynn beats up Lincoln all the damn time, so that means she really likes him or something like that. So, like, what is this? What is this plot? After Ronnie Ann beats Lincoln's ass, he basically sulks to his room with like 3 seconds left in the episode. Like, seriously, it's like very late into the episode, like 20 seconds or so. The best part about all this is that we don't actually see Ronnie Ann, like, at all in this episode, which is very interesting. Considering the fact this is her first appearance, she doesn't say anything, yet she's the character that's going to have a spin-off series later on down the line. It's interesting. Thankfully, making the case is a little bit better of an episode. I'd even say it's another 6 out of 10, just like the first episode, where I actually had a little bit of fun watching it. So the premise is that Lincoln is a complete and total loser and doesn't actually have a trophy to showcase anyone. So basically, SpongeBob then decides to give one of his trophies to him, and sorry, you know, just talking about another plot of another cartoon, you know, whatever, who cares? No, in all seriousness, this is one of those plots, especially nowadays, where they're all like, I gotta get more social media influence than the other person that's getting more social media influence than my videos that should be getting more social media influence. All of this for a trophy, by the way. And hey, you know what? I guess I'm doing something wrong involving my YouTube career, considering the fact that Loran, even though despite making completely and totally unfunny jokes, especially in the first episode, has over 500,000 viewers. So, again, I must be doing something wrong here, am I? According to her, in order to get, quote, comedy gold, you need to always have your camera running. That sounds, That sounds like an interesting thought. Yeah, definitely. Definitely not a Chinese psyop. I don't know what you're talking about. Anyways, this is also where Lincoln makes a clip compilation. You know, my forte. That's my forte, Lincoln. Stay the fuck away. Granted, it's a clip compilation of his sisters doing random shit, including Lori fart fetish, and Clyde comments on it. Hooray! Ugh. Anywho, obviously the sisters don't approve of this because that Lincoln didn't ask for consent to actually upload the video, which is a pretty important thing and is actually a felony. So yeah, basically all of his sisters now hate him. But don't worry, because Loran actually has a plan. That, of course, being uploading embarrassing moments of yourself. One thing I've kind of noticed about this series is that Lincoln is kind of the character that if he does something to the sisters, then they're going to get pissed at him and they're not going to enjoy it. But if the inverse is the case, then that means it's okay. So that means Loran actually has a whole, like, closet full of VHS tapes about Lincoln's embarrassing moments. Even though that Lincoln uploaded one video, she has an entire closet full of VHS tapes. Like, come on. The best part is that I don't think any of the clips actually used in that segment are actually from those DVDs, because they look like more so they just kind of filmed semi-embarrassing stuff, but it's kind of like scripted almost. The main reason onto why I think this is because Lucy was like making out with this vampire guy, but Lincoln decides to paste a picture over the vampire bust, so like I think it was mostly staged. This episode also kind of ends like the first one, where it's just all like, well, we didn't win the actual prize, but guess what, Lincoln? You're such a cool brother, we decided to give you a trophy so you could put it in the trophy case all on your own. It's just like, what a just deflated ending. It's just like, okay, we have a goal right here. He doesn't reach it, but then his sisters are just all like, but don't worry, we're just gonna give you the end to your episode. It's just like, what even? One thing I 100% though do not understand is that Lincoln in this episode is pining over this girl. I not mentioned her so far because I don't remember her name at all. But it is actually one of the only funny part of the episodes. Where basically she had to move to a different class to avoid Lincoln because of his creepy kissing. Yet, incidentally, Ronnie Ann is never mentioned, even though the last episode ended with her being okay with Lincoln and wanting to be into a relationship with them. This is kind of also why I think it's not really the third episode, like production-wise. I don't know, it just doesn't feel right, is all I'm saying. In short, I kind of liked this a little bit more than the first episode, kind of. The fourth episode is a fine episode in and of itself. The third episode is kind of milquetoast and boring, but the fourth one definitely is pretty good. The thing is definitely that I definitely do understand, again, it's just annoying. The Loud House fandom, it's just in the back of my head all the damn time when watching this show and being all like, that makes sense as to why the fandom would interpret this way. And it's just like, that's not what I'm doing this video series for. I'm just doing it so I can watch the fucking series. That's all I'm doing. It's not like some kind of dig at the fandom. So again, no harm, no foul is what I'm trying to say here. I'm not trying to dig at you at all. And also, if I get anything factually incorrect, I don't care. So yeah. But yeah, thank you all for watching this video to the very end, and I'll see you all tomorrow when I have more episodes to review. Goodbye.